everybody. I had a few things in my spirit that I wanted to share, and I wrote them down. So if you see me looking down, I'm just trying to remember where I am. And so I wanted to verbalize these words, because I know that sometimes reading a long ass status or note that somebody wrote ain't the wave, especially as, when you just had a long day. And I really just want whoever this is for, I want you to hear what it is that I'm saying and not have to comprehend what it is that I'm writing. And so these words are, what's been floating around in my spirit. I recently came up out of like what I would call a cloudy haze, and no, not that haze, but like a mental cloudy haze. And it was kind of like a rut that I had to pull myself out of. And what I really wanted to speak on today was responsibility. When you're feeling down, and I don't mean like, you sad or you disappointed because your lunch was 30 minutes instead of 45 minutes, but I mean like a real, apathetic feelings of despair, like this deep ass melancholy mood that you're experiencing. I want people to understand that there is no IG quote. There's no wall of affirmation. There's no amount of green tea, honey, lemon, and incense that can bring you up out that shit. I'm speaking from experience. I burned through so much incense. Like the people at the Whole Foods place, they know my name. They know exactly what type of incense I'm coming for. They know which card I'm using. Like that's how much incense I was burning out. Smoke inhalation, whoever walked in my house. And so those are all external factors that sometimes people think are going to be able to bring them through. And so when you really going through some shit, nothing on the outside is going to pull you up out whatever it is that you're in. I took all the social media apps off my phone. I did what I call turtle shell. It's kind of like my adult fetal position. I turtle shelled myself. And I said, okay, well, fuck it. I'm going to come out when everything is safe. Newsflash, the world is not safe, and, the problem with that was I had so much to do, with my business, Cultural Kings, and with me taking, 6 classes this semester because I'm done in December, and trying to be a parent and remember when to pick my child up, and that even if I'm not hungry, she's still hungry. So I still have to feed her. And oh shit, I forgot I had a dog. So let me go make sure he's not jumping out the fence trolling for puppy girls and everything. So it was so much going on in my mind, so many decisions to make, and I felt like I was on my own. I really kind of got overwhelmed with everything, which happens quite commonly, but a lot of people fail to admit that. And so it's okay to acknowledge that things can get overwhelming. Life can get overwhelming. It was society, it was the election, it was the past year and a half of, everything going on in the Black community. It was me trying to wrap my mind around what I can do, how I can do it, who I can do this with, who can I connect with, and why are we going to do this? It was a lot that was starting to take a toll on me. And so I put everything else off until tomorrow. And then tomorrow turned into the next day, and then the next day turned into 2 days, and then 2 days turned into a week, and then that 1 week turned into like almost 2 months. And so here I am in November, and I was like, shit, like it was just August, or was it September? Wasn't it just summertime? When did she get back in school? Like sometimes I had these moments where I'm just like, shit, it's a lot going on right now. Like, let me chill, let me sit down for a minute, let me look at the calendar, let me see where I'm at, because we can get caught up in trying to do so much ahead that we miss the current, we miss the present. And I just literally like sat down and didn't do. I just didn't do. Like that was my way of dealing with everything. I just didn't do. Whatever you want to put after do, that's what I didn't do. I just didn't do this. I didn't do that. I didn't call them. I didn't go there. I didn't email that. I just didn't do. And it was easy for me. And we all know, we all hear that old misery loves company. And I spoke on, when you know that your energy is not at its highest, to kind of stay away from people that's vibing real high. Like, you don't want to suck anybody else into like this mentally unhealthy quicksand. You know, it's easy to get sucked into your own. And so you definitely don't want to pull anybody else into that with you. So anyways, that's kind of what I was going through. And so I just decided to start talking to myself. Of course, yeah. Yes, I do talk to myself on the regular, but when I say talk to myself, like I really had to talk myself through my days. You know, I had to wake up and say, okay, today is Thursday. This is what we're going to do on Thursday. We're not going to worry about Friday because I don't have the energy to worry about Friday. I'm going to get through 8 o'clock when I drop her off. And then after 8 o'clock, I'm going to get through my class. And after my class, I'm going to get through my conference call. And after my conference call, I'm going to devise this list of things to do for my intern. And so that's what I had to do. I had to talk myself through my days. And that's kind of how I got through. I wanted to point out that I'm responsible for what I say. You are responsible for what you say. And I know that we read in books. I know that we see articles and we repost it on Instagram because the quote that we screenshotted was cute and the color scheme matched our selfie picture. Like, I get it. You know what I mean? I know that, you put these quotes up and you want people to know that that's what you believe in. It really doesn't matter what their perception of it is. It matters what your perception of it is, because I'm ultimately responsible for my space. And when I say my space, I mean my physical space, my mental space, my emotional space, and my mind, my head space, my psyche. I'm responsible for what goes on up here, right? I'm not responsible for anybody else's house. I'm responsible for what goes on in my own house. And when I get off of virtual reality, social media or outside in the world, and I kind of get back in my home, my bedroom, my bathroom, and no one else is around, I am responsible for what happens from that moment. I am responsible for what I say to myself. I can't get mad at my homegirl for not saying what I think she needs to say at the time that I need her to say it or when I need to hear it. That's not her job. That's not her responsibility. That's my responsibility. Although sometimes words of encouragement do help us out, we cannot solely rely on the encouragement of others. I think that's the quickest way to kind of lose your tribe when you're going through, when you're experiencing emotional turmoil. It's the quickest way to lose people is to place the blame on them for something that you're ultimately responsible for. Last night, I wrote down some things that I want manifested within these next 6 months to 1 year. And, as I was writing, I kept, writing out, I am the only one that can move myself forward. I'm the only one that can move myself forward. I know at some point I was like legit mad at some of y'all for having help. I was like, damn, she got a babysitter and a backup babysitter. She got extra hours on the weekend. I don't have no time. I gotta wait till the house is clean, my schoolwork is done, these pop quizzes coming up, I got this conference, I got that meeting, I got that interview, I gotta wait till my daughter sleep. I kind of felt like my creativity was limited to when I thought I had time instead of creating the time for my creativity to take place. I was turning the phone. And so in the midst of me feeling like I had no time to do anything, I lost sight of the fact that there's always going to be somebody grinding just as hard or harder than I am to get where I want to be. So in 3 months, when they're 3 months further along than I am, who am I upset at? I can't be upset at them because that means that I'm placing the blame on somebody else. And that goes back to responsibility. That goes back to me being responsible for what takes place in my head, in my mind, in my spirit, in my heart, in my life. Like, I am responsible for all of this. I had to give myself a pep talk. I had to give myself like that halftime losing speech. Like, y'all gotta pull it together. And by y'all, I mean me, and me. Like, we gotta pull it together. We pushed through 10 years of parenting. We pushed through 5 deployments within 6 years. We pushed through 6 years of undergrad. Don't ask me why or how. Just know I pushed through. And so I had to keep reminding myself, like, you a badass. You got this. I had to tell myself that I was a badass. I had to tell myself that at the end of the day, yes, we do have people who are there in our lives to kind of guide us and support us, and the Creator sends people along our paths to help us. But at the end of the day, I am a badass. I had to continue to tell myself that. I had to drill a hole in my spirit just big enough for the light to come back in so that I can understand that I am far too great for God to hide. And I need you all to understand that once you start taking responsibility for yourself, your life, your actions, your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health, that you too will understand that you are much too great for God to hide. Your gifts are far too great for God to hide. So stop hiding.